Most people don't have a reaction problem, they have a control problem. Someone says one wrong sentence and suddenly your mood changes. Someone criticizes you and your chest tightens before your brain even catches up. Someone disrespects you and your words come out faster than your thoughts. And afterward, you replay the moment. You wish you had stayed calm. You wish you had said something stronger or maybe nothing at all. Here's the truth most people never learn: reacting is natural, but living in reaction is dangerous. Because when you react automatically, you give other people control over your emotions, your energy, and sometimes even your decisions. The strongest people in the room are not the loudest. They're not the fastest responders. They're the ones who can pause when everyone else is exploding. Your brain is wired for survival, not peace. When it senses threat, whether it's physical danger or emotional discomfort, it pushes you toward immediate action. Fight, defend, probe, attack, explain, justify. But survival mode is not leadership mode. Survival mode is not confidence. Survival mode is not power. If you want to stop reacting, you must first understand something. Most people ignore. Your reaction is not caused by the other person. It's caused by the speed between the trigger and your response. And that speed can be trained. There is a tiny space between what happens to you and how you respond to it. Most people rush through that space without noticing it even exists. But that space is where emotional control lives. That space is where respect is protected. That space is where confidence is built. Training your brain to stop reacting starts with slowing down your body. Your breathing changes your nervous system faster than your thoughts ever will. When your breath becomes shallow and fast, your brain prepares for conflict. When your breath slows, your brain receives a signal that says, "You are safe enough to think." That's why controlled breathing is not weakness. It is neurological strategy. It is emotional discipline. Another truth most people struggle to accept is that not every moment deserves your response. Silence is not losing. Silence is selecting. Silence is deciding whether the moment deserves your energy. People who react to everything become predictable, and predictable reactions are easy to manipulate. When others know they can trigger you, they gain influence over you. But when you become calm in moments that usually create chaos, people lose their ability to control your emotional state. Your unpredictability becomes your strength. Stopping reactions also requires understanding emotional triggers. Triggers are rarely about the present moment. They are echoes of past experiences. A certain tone reminds you of disrespect. A certain phrase reminds you of rejection. A certain behavior reminds you of feeling powerless. When you react strongly, it is often your past speaking through your present. Training your brain means recognizing the difference between what is happening now and what your mind remembers happening before. That awareness weakens emotional intensity. Awareness interrupts automatic behavior. Another powerful skill is learning to delay your response. You do not need to answer immediately. You do not need to defend yourself instantly. Confidence is comfortable with pause. Confidence is comfortable with thinking. When someone pressures you for a reaction, they are often trying to control the pace of the conversation. The moment you slow the pace, you take back authority. Strong responses rarely arrive fast. They arrive clear. People who react quickly often speak emotionally. People who pause often speak intentionally. And intention carries weight that emotion cannot sustain. There is also a misconception that emotional control means suppressing feelings. It does not. Suppression stores emotion. Control directs emotion. You are allowed to feel anger. You are allowed to feel frustration. You are allowed to feel hurt. But feeling something does not mean you must act on it immediately. Emotional maturity is not about having fewer emotions. It is about having better timing. When you train your brain to stop reacting, you begin to notice something unexpected. You stop feeling exhausted by conversations. You stop replaying arguments in your mind. You stop giving strangers emotional power they never earned. You begin choosing peace without sacrificing strength. And here is the transformation most people never expect. When you stop reacting impulsively, people begin respecting you differently. Calmness signals control. Control signals confidence. Confidence commands attention without asking for it. The ability to stay composed when others are emotional makes your words carry more influence. Your silence carries more presence. Your responses carry more authority. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen neural pathways associated with emotional regulation. Over time, calm becomes your default instead of your exception. Your brain learns that discomfort does not require immediate defense. It learns that control feels safer than chaos. Training your brain is not about becoming emotionless, it is about becoming intentional. It is about deciding that your peace is too valuable to be controlled by temporary situations or unpredictable people. The goal is not to eliminate reactions completely. The goal is to make your reactions chosen instead of automatic. Because the moment your reactions become choices, your life becomes direction instead of damage control. The strongest mind is not the one that never feels pressure. The strongest mind is the one that can feel pressure and still decide who it wants to be in that moment. Reacting is instinct, responding is control. The difference between the two often decides whether a moment strengthens you or weakens you. Reaction lives in speed. It happens before your thoughts fully form. It is the automatic surge of emotion when something feels threatening, uncomfortable, or unexpected. Responding, however, lives in awareness. It requires space. It requires intention. It requires you to step out of emotional autopilot and step into conscious choice. Human beings are wired to react. Long before society, communication skills, or emotional intelligence existed, survival depended on immediate action. If danger appeared, hesitation could cost life. That wiring still exists inside your brain today. When someone challenges you, criticizes you, disrespects you, or even misunderstands you, your brain interprets it as a form of threat. Your body prepares to defend itself. Your heart rate rises, your muscles tighten, your breathing becomes shallow, and your mind rushes to protect your identity, your pride, or your sense of safety. That is instinct working exactly as it was designed. But modern life rarely requires survival-level reactions. Most challenges today are emotional, social, or psychological. Yet many people still respond to emotional discomfort with survival-level urgency. They argue immediately. They interrupt quickly. They defend themselves before understanding the situation fully. These reactions may feel powerful in the moment, but they often create regret afterward. Instinct prioritizes protection, not clarity. Instinct wants to win, escape, or defend. It does not care about long-term consequences, relationship strength, or personal growth. Responding is different because it introduces control into the moment. Control is not about suppressing emotions or pretending not to feel something. Control is about deciding what deserves expression and when it deserves expression. When you respond instead of react, you acknowledge your emotions without allowing them to become your decision maker. You create a mental pause that allows logic, awareness, and self-respect to enter the situation before your words or actions do. That pause is where personal power exists. Many people believe strength is measured by how quickly they speak or how forcefully they defend themselves. Real strength is measured by how well someone can hold emotional tension without losing clarity. The ability to remain steady when emotions are intense shows mastery over yourself. Anyone can react. Few people can respond with intention when pressure rises. Control begins with recognizing emotional triggers. Everyone has them. Certain tones, words, or behaviors can instantly activate emotional discomfort. These triggers are often connected to past experiences, not just present situations. When someone reacts strongly to something small, it is rarely about the moment itself. It is usually connected to something deeper that the brain remembers as painful or threatening. Responding requires recognizing when the present moment is activating old emotional patterns. Awareness weakens automatic reactions because it allows you to separate past pain from current reality. Another important part of responding is slowing down physical responses. The body often reacts before the mind understands what is happening. Breathing becomes faster, posture becomes defensive, and tension builds quickly. Slowing your breathing sends a signal to your nervous system that the situation is manageable. That physical shift creates mental clarity. Emotional storms lose intensity when the body stops behaving like it is in danger. Control is often built through physical regulation before mental discipline even begins. Responding also requires patience with silence. Many people feel uncomfortable